Good morning. How are we doing today? It's Fowler again for your daily math lesson. So, hopefully most of you guys have started on yesterday's work and finished all the triangle properties. We're going to move on to proving triangle congruence, which means we need to understand what congruence is. Congruence means that our figures, angles, or sides, whichever ones we're looking at are congruent, have the same shape and the same size. They're like basically a copy and paste. So like twins, essentially, as long as they're identical, are congruent, okay? The ceiling tiles in my classroom, they're all congruent. They have the same size, same shape, okay? If I just copy and paste a picture over, it's congruent. But to prove congruence, we have to be able to say that every single part has the same shape, same size, same measure. So each angle has to have the same measure. Like the first angle corresponds to one other one, it has the same measure. The second angle corresponds, it has the same measure, and the third angle corresponds. The sides, each pair has the same length. So today we're going to do congruency statements. We're going to solve some problems involving congruent corresponding parts, and then we're going to identify congruent figures. It should be pretty easy. It's not that bad. We'll prove congruence tomorrow. Dun dun dun. So I have this lovely thing here. And all I'm going to do on here is I'm just going to label the congruent parts. So congruent parts are marked by having the same marking. So this right here and this right here have the same exact marking. So angle B is congruent to angle F. Okay? The one tick in the side here, okay, angles are marked with an arc, sides are marked with a tick or a dash. And that one matches up as well. So I could say that side AB is congruent, A to B, to DF. And notice how I put B and F in the same position, okay, because they both have that angle mark. And this last one, okay, CB is congruent. Well, it's marked congruent to this one, but there's no like angle B there, so we'll just write however we want. DE. Okay? These two triangles had 3 congruent parts. If we go to the next one. Okay? Same marking. So let's just start with the one arc and the one arc. So angle C is congruent to angle D. Okay, same marking. The 2 arcs next. Angle A is congruent to angle E. And our last one with the 3 arcs, angle B is congruent to angle F. Okay? The markings show our congruence. Okay, let's go to this one right here. All right, so let's see what's marked. Angle A is congruent to angle D. Okay, one tick, one tick. So tick is a side, so A to C is congruent to D to C. And now this one has a third part. Its third part is hidden, okay? Hidden means it's not marked, but we know it's true for a fact because of some other things we've learned. If we look at C, C has these 2 segments that intersect, okay? C has this vertical angle here. And we can mark that in because vertical angles are always congruent, and we already learned that, okay? So when we name this one, because there's 2 angle C's, we have to name it by those 3 letters. So I'm going to label this angle ACB, vertex in the middle, okay? And then it's congruent to angle ACB, DCE. Okay? And that's just vertical angles. I'm going to write that in because we wrote this in here. Okay? Let's look at another example where we're writing these down. So we're only going to mark what's congruent in our two triangles. So I've got one tick here. So AB is congruent to CB. Okay. Two ticks here. AD is congruent to CD. Okay. And then in these two triangles, okay, there is one more hidden part. Because they share this side here, okay, because they share the side, we can say that side's congruent to itself. BD is congruent to BD, okay? That's called the reflexive property. So we can mark it in. Because we mark it in, we're gonna write in why we said that. Okay, and then the last problem we're gonna do, where we're only writing in the congruent parts, is here. So let's just start with angles first. We've got this right angle here and this right angle here. So angle B is congruent to angle F. And then we've got this side marked in. So BC is congruent, if I start with B, I'm gonna start with F over here, to FC. Okay, any hidden parts here? Why, yes, there is. We got another set of vertical angles. So I'm gonna mark that in, and I'll name this angle BCA. And this one FCD. Always vertex in the middle. Okay. So there's talking about congruent parts. Next thing we're going to look at is mapping statements. Well, not mapping statement, congruency statement. Okay. So here's the actual notes for the day. Triangle congruence. Triangles with the same shape and size are congruent. Okay, this means all corresponding parts, sides and angles, are congruent. Okay, when we know triangles are congruent, we can write a congruency statement. So this statement basically is like a rule. It looks like this, saying triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. And it starts out, let's go, A to B to C. A matches up with D. They're in the same position in our congruency statement. They have the same angle measure. D to E to F. They follow the same order. So D to E is 1 tick to 2, 1 tick to 2, and then to 3, and then to 3. So each angle matches up in this congruency statement. Okay? It is very particular. Order does matter because it states that angle A corresponds to angle D, angle B corresponds to angle E, and angle C corresponds to angle F. Okay? Next, CTC. That just states that corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Okay, if we know triangles are congruent, then we know every pair of corresponding parts is also congruent. So, right here, we want the directions say to list all the sides and angles given the congruency statement. That congruency statement is very powerful. I like looking at the statement more than actually looking at the picture because pictures are sometimes confusing. So when we do this, J, and P. So we're going to list out our congruent angles first. So angle J is congruent to angle P. Same position. Angle K is congruent to angle Q. Both are in the middle. And last one, angle L is congruent to angle R. Okay? Angles are easy. Sides are next. So when I do sides, I look at the statement and I do the first two letters of the statement first. So JK is congruent, that JK matches up to PQ. Okay? Has to be in the correct order. K and Q have to correspond. All right? Then I'll do the last two letters. So KL is congruent to QR. Okay? And then I take first and last. So JL is congruent to PR. And there I have my matching sides and angles. It wants us to write another valid congruency statement. So this statement can be written in 3 different ways. Okay? So it's just basically any combination as long as the corresponding angles match up. So I can write it as triangle LKJ. Actually, there's more than 3 combinations. Is congruent to triangle RQP. L and R match up. Okay? K and Q match up. And J and P match up. I could write it as KLJ, triangle KLJ, is congruent to triangle P. Oh, sorry, ooh. Q, R, and then P. Okay? There are multiple correct answers for that, as long as they correspond. Okay? And then we're going to look at the bottom. So it says, given triangle KPM is congruent to triangle AYC, complete each of the following statements. So I'm not going to use the figure. I'm going to use the statement because that's a little easier. So KM, first and last. Okay? AC. So if you want to use the figure, you can. You can, I like to color code them. Or I've seen some people just take one triangle and write the corresponding letters in so they don't get confused. It's a good trick. So CY, it should be MP. CY, MP. PK, so it's YA. Okay? Angle Y is congruent to angle P. Angle K is congruent to angle A. And then we have ACY, it's KMP. Okay, and the last one, last two, MPK should be triangle CYA. And let's see, YAC is PKM. Okay, so that is our little lesson on those. If we go over, no, I don't want that one. We're going to go back one page. And just do a couple of these. So, this little maze I was going to have you guys do, but since we're out in school, it's unfortunate. Angle B is right here. Angle B matches up to angle E. Okay. Angle Y corresponds to angle D. So, here's what you're going to do today. I'm going to give you guys some IXLs to practice. Okay, so the first one is on congruency statements and corresponding parts. Let's make this bigger. Okay, and it just says complete the congruency statement. So it says R to S to T. So it will start with R, okay, and that matches up to the other right angle, V. Okay, S is the 45 over here. So we're going to go to a 45. So let's go to X. You could have gone either way because both angles are the same. And then W. Okay, you do not have to capitalize. You could just hit submit. Same with this one. It wants to know what are the corresponding parts. So this one has you checking. So J to I is 13. N to O, that is also 13. So that is true. And J and N have the same exact angle measures. I and O have the same exact angle measures. H to K is 38. P to M is also 38. H is 79 degrees, as is P, so that does work. KJ is 44, and K is 59 degrees. MN is 44, and M is also 59 degrees, so that works. I to H is 30. O to P is 30. I is 142, O is 142 degrees, so that does work. Submit. See? Easy. Not bad. You're just going to do the statements and find the corresponding parts. So that's one IXL you do today. Your other one, solve problems and concluding. Okay? So it says the figures are congruent. What is IJ? So IJ is the length here from the 81 degrees to the 63 degrees. Okay? So let's look over here. There is no 81, but there is a 63. Okay? Is the 63 to the 81 going to be to D or to F? Yep, it's this one. It should be 51 centimeters. Okay? You can tell that because 36, 42, and then the 51 would be next. Submit. Okay. If these figures are congruent, what's the length of DC? So D to C is here. Okay. We've got the 37. Okay, 37's right there. 62 degrees is right here. And then next would be our C to D, which is 55. Submit. Okay. So not bad. And then the third one, identify congruent figures. And this is probably the easiest one, I think. Can you prove these shapes are congruent? So if all the sides correspond and all the angles. So this one has 4 ticks in the side. This one also has 4 ticks in the side. This one's got 2 angles across from each other that have 1 tick, 2 across that have 1 tick. And then we've got 2 across that have 2 ticks, 2 across, yes. They have all the same markings in the same order. Okay, this one. Let's go around the edge. We got 8, 34, 27, 26. There is no 8, okay? Not congruent. Has to have the same exact size and shape. Okay, this one. All 1 ticks and all 1 arcs. All 1 ticks and all 1 arcs. So that is a yes. Okay? Same angles, all 1 arc. Let's check the sides. 56 degrees. Ooh, these are equilateral triangles. 56 inches. Inches, not degrees. This one, 43 inches. No bueno. Okay? So that's what you'll be doing. I'll be posting 3 separate assignments because I want the 3 IXLs in there. I'll see you guys at 1 for our Zoom meeting. Bye.